Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. Today is the 15th of October. We're going to improvise just a little bit on this afternoon's hunt. We've got a straight north wind. In the spot that I wanted to hunt, I wanted to take Jordan up there and go after that fat buck on the far north end of the farm. But that's not going to work with this north wind. It'll be blowing right to the area where the deer are probably going to come out from. So we're going to try something, maybe just pull a little something out of our hat here. There's a blind up on top of the ridge in the spot where I pulled it off the field when I was planting the food plots this spring. Just pulled it off there, stuck it out of the way. We're just going to go in and get in that and just see what happens. It's not too far from a pretty good trail leading to that plot. There's a imperial whitetail clover plot and some standing corn.
So it's the rainbow field, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They really like that clover right now. They're pounding clover, and I think anything green, it seems like right now they're hitting hard. So we're gonna go sit there and just see what comes, across in front of that blind. I think we'll see some deer. I don't know if we'll have anything within range because, again, like I said, this is more of an improvised, thrown together kind of a hunt. So we can make this pretty easy hunt, pretty quick. I do like blinds for Jordan right now. We were gonna go to the scrape tree on that north wind, but the shot angles are pretty tough from that tree stand, and it's just easier for Jordan to have more controlled shots out of the blind. So you ready to go?
I think so.
I went out yesterday evening and saw one doe. Didn't even produce an episode on that one, but so that cold front didn't really pay off because that would have been the first day of it here, and I was back in the timber with Amos, and it was pretty dead. So hopefully out in the open fields, maybe this evening we'll catch them coming at the clover.
It's still chilly though. I mean, yeah. It looks like it might warm up a little bit again later this week, but yeah. It's, I don't know, 49 according to my watch.
49 degrees?
That's what it says. It could be, it feels warmer than that in the sun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So either way, even if it's in the low 50s, that's still pretty good.
And at night it gets down into the 30s.
Yeah, we had heavy frost this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, let's gear up and run up the hill, and we'll check back in when we get there, give you a look at the spot we're going to be hunting. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail App, Whitetail Institute, Research Equals Results, B3 Releases, XO Broadheads, Exact Sights, and Hoyt. I want to talk for a minute about the buck that we're hoping might come past this evening. There are at least two older bucks on the farm. One is that fat buck, the poor fat buck. Everybody says that we're giving him some kind of a body image issue, but
you're making him self-conscious.
I don't know that he's watching these episodes. If he is, maybe that's why we're not getting him, because he's one step ahead of us.
He's at the gym.
I know, he's like, okay, they're gonna hunt me over here, so I'm gonna go over here instead.
He's gonna hit the gym, and the next time he shows up, it's gonna be just shredded. Just like the most jacked buck you've ever seen.
We'll nickname him Jack instead of Fatso. All right, so back to the 8-pointer. I don't know really
if I recognize this deer from past years, he's hanging in the same pattern as that 10-pointer that I was hunting last year. But I don't think it's him. I don't think this deer morphed from that deer. So it's just a different, older age class buck. He's not a big antlered deer, but there's no doubt that he's older. He's been showing a fair amount of daylight activity. He's been up here on the edge of the rainbow field, this end and the other end. I'm sure in between as well. But he's been all over the farm. I mean, I've had him in probably 4 or 5 different cameras. That's typical of what that 10-pointer was doing last year too. I mean, he was really hard to pin down because he'd be, half a mile away from one day to the next on cameras.
And that's not the one you ended up shooting. The one you shot was kind of a surprise, right?
Yeah, I'd had pictures of him in September, but then nothing after that. Right. He just disappeared into the timber is what he did. And that's what I think the fat buck did too. Because I haven't checked the camera lately, but the last time I checked it had been about 2 weeks worth of photos on there, and he wasn't on there hardly at all. So our odds of killing that deer out in the open on that food plot are going to be pretty slim.
At least right now.
Yeah.
Because give it a couple weeks and everything will shift again, right?
Yeah, but my guess is that he's moved into the timber.
Yeah.
So we might kill him, sitting up on the ridge in November or something. But and he might still come out. But anyway, the patterns are starting to change a little bit. I think if you're trying to pin the behavior down, I know everybody hates it when I say this is the October lull, and then people get all mad and they say there's no such thing. But you need to tell my trail campers that there's no such thing as the October lull. If you can convince them, then I'll go along with it. The bucks are not coming to my cameras like they were. So whether they're active or not active, they aren't active near my cameras.
I was going to say, haven't we had the discussion where they're active, but just they stay in the woods more or closer to their bedding areas?
That's what I think is happening.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're in that phase right now.
Yeah.
And I think it lasts until almost the 25th of October.
Where they would hypothetically still be huntable. It would just be more of a risk to go in after them.
Yeah.
And especially at this time of the year, it's not really a risk worth taking.
Right. I think if you had cameras back in the woods and you knew what was going on better, it might be okay.
Or if you're on limited time in competition with a lot of other people or something like that, then it might make more sense. But for this specific situation...
Well, we've got so much woods, it'd be hard to pin down just exactly where that deer's at. So that's why I don't like going after individual specific deer back in the woods this time of the year. Wait until they start moving more, because then you don't have to find them. They're traveling so much during the rut that they'll find you, and that's just a whole lot easier.
So would you say that there's some semblance of a chance that the Jordan buck could show back up during the rut?
If he's alive, and I'm assuming that he is, but I don't know that. I don't think anybody's shot him yet. He was alive a few weeks ago.
Right.
Maybe a month ago, is that right? Yeah, a month ago. He could show up for the rut. Yeah, because, he lived here for 2 years. He never, seemed like he hardly ever left.
Right.
Now all of a sudden he's gone, and I kind of wonder in the back of my mind if all that TSI work that we did and all the human activity kind of in his core area he might have just said enough's enough.
Yeah,
and just moved.
Sick of the construction noise in his backyard.
Yeah, the chainsaws running.
I remember when this was a proper town.
Yeah. So he may have just left because of that, but sometimes they just move anyway for no good reason. But yeah, hopefully he comes back. I can go look for him. I've been reluctant to do that because I keep waiting for him to come back. And I don't really want to push him. If he's on the fringe of the farm, I don't really want to push him further out.
Right.
I'd rather just let him drift his way back as the rut approaches.
Well, and another thing too, up where we kind of think he might have moved to, that's mostly commercial. Is it standing corn?
Yeah.
It's a lot of the commercial standing corn. So after that gets harvested and everything gets kind of picked through, and the only food in the area left is there's those plots up there, some pretty nice ones. Do you think that could be an attraction?
Yeah, I think the does on our farm is the attraction.
I gotcha.
That's what I think. I think that he might be living in that standing corn,
Oh, yeah.
but there's so much, even when they combine it, there's so much corn and there aren't that many deer.
Right.
So I don't think it'll ever get cleaned out. This is where he rutted last year.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this is where he's going to rut this year.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how big-bodied he was?
Yeah.
He looked like a beef cow.
He was a big body.
Yeah.
I'd like to let the record show too that I give you permission to shoot the Jordan buck if you happen to see him on a day when I'm not here, because I don't like hunting when it's cold necessarily, but
Well, if it does your heart any good, I wasn't awaiting your permission.
I figured as much. But I would just like, you can now rest easy knowing that you have it for whatever it's worth.
Maybe I better get it in writing so that it doesn't come back to haunt me later.
Your lawyers will be hearing from mine. Draw up an agreement.
All right, so let's go back to the hunt here. It's, what time is it?
5:12.
It's 5:12, so we've got roughly an hour and 40 minutes probably, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I mean, they really have just mowed down that imperial whitetail clover.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody took a lawnmower through there. So I know they're eating it hard because I had cameras up here for quite a while, and all those cameras showed the deer out in that clover the whole time, just chowing down. So
And it looks luscious. Like
Yeah.
It's a nice plot and it's big.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be something out before dark. What time is it now, Jordan? You're the official timekeeper.
5:55.
5:55. So does that mean about an hour? A little bit less than an hour, probably.
Sunset is at 6:21. It's almost exactly an hour.
An hour. We're an hour out. We haven't seen any deer yet. In fact, I've seen one squirrel.
I saw a squirrel. I saw a bird.
So it's been pretty dead up here on the ridge. We did make a little bit of noise when we were moving the blind around, but it was really windy then.
Yeah, it's died a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was blowing hard, so I don't think the deer were here. And I mean, the closest bedding area, likely bedding area to where we are, is probably about 200 yards at the most, or at the closest. And I know we didn't bump anything coming in because we parked probably 250 yards away on that trail. We could sneak right up in here. It's just an indication of the time of year. But I mean, an hour though, there's a lot that can happen in an hour. So don't be distressed, folks. We haven't given up all hope yet.
Not over till it's over. You play through the whistle. Right?
What was that one saying? You always had the best way over is through, or something like that.
The only way out is through.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's what we're gonna do.
Burn the boats. I think that's another one.
We're gonna burn the blind.
Burn the blind.
I think it's safe to say that the deer are not moving today, at least not this evening.
I saw one when I was running earlier.
Well, you should have been running here then, because we could sure use seeing a deer or two about now. It's about a half an hour, maybe a little bit less than a half an hour, until the end of legal shooting time here. And I wish that we could have brought you some action. Possibly something will come out in this last half hour and we'll show it to you. You'll hear at the end of the video, but
It's cold.
yeah.
It's
a cold wind. I mean, the wind is actually staying up, but it's 10, 15 mile an hour north wind.
It kind of laid down there for a little while, but I feel like it's picking back up now.
Yeah. So hopefully you got a little something out of our discussion of deer behavior and hunting strategy.
Tomorrow you're...
I'm going to be taking young Titan for his first tree stand hunt ever.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I just want to teach him the basics. That
Yeah.
way, if I'm not around, able to help him along the way every single step, then he's off to a good start at least.
Right.
So I'm going to watch him shoot and then put a stand up. We'll find someplace fairly easy to get to, put the stand up, and then I'll film him hunting, and it'd be fun if he could shoot a doe or something.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. So until tomorrow, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you right back here again for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream
Big.